Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. Now, we have new information this morning. We finally have HRRR. And what it's coming to is late in the evening. It's going to be up here for your tornado threat. It has been upgraded. And then you got it overnight into the next day down here below. And we can't see the squall line. We can't see the storms popping up in front of them for that time as well. So I will show you all the new information. Thank you again for everybody warning everybody to alert everyone to keep your heads up on this system. Because you may have noticed, we did reach a lot of people yesterday, and now people knows what's going on, which is a great thing. Safety is the best thing to practice, especially during severe weather. Now, you can see from your tropopause way up in the atmosphere that as you go into Tuesday, you start getting these storms brewing up and going towards Michigan as well. Why are you getting all this cold air and getting a lot of this snowfall, still a major snow over a foot? Then as you go into Wednesday, this still pushes towards the intercoastal northeast, Ohio Valley. But this comes right after we get this squall line that still appears for this system. And you can see with your vorticity with HRRR that you do have all these storms in the south for today. And we did have a lot of tornado warnings this morning already. There's a lot of hail. And it's going to continue to push towards southern Georgia, maybe even northern Florida also by this afternoon. But then we get this big old ridging coming on, and you can see the negative tilt coming right into it. Now, as you go into Tuesday, we still have the capping going on, but as that breaks that cap, it still does, it's late in the afternoon, and you start getting these really strong cells going from Missouri all the way to Illinois, southern Wisconsin, into northern Michigan. Maybe even hit western Michigan. But after that, that's as far as we can see with HRRR so far. Now, the NAM is showing some things. The NAM can see a little bit further, but the information is so different than HRRR. I don't have a lot of confidence in showing you that. I will show you a little bit just to show you the comparison. We will have better information on exactly what's going on definitely tomorrow morning. But you can see with your significant tornado primers, which signifies instability, also with your wind shear, and you can see it really miles down as you go through Tuesday. Then Tuesday afternoon it picks right back up with a strong chance for tornadoes, big supercells that go all the way from Missouri all the way into Illinois, all even along, and it grows, guys. And then as this transfers over towards Michigan, we start getting that squall line forming. That is literally as far as we can see. And this is where they have some cells come in front of it, possible supercells, and it could be tornadic as well. But you can still see as we go through Tuesday, we get a lot of this daytime heating. And as we go through the overnight, it still holds on to the temperatures down below. And when you go above, you can see it still holds on to those temperatures, so it still holds on to that cap. But once you go later in the afternoon, then the instability comes in, the cold temperatures come in, and it breaks that cap on the eastern side of this system while you still have warm air on the western side. So the western side is not going to have too many thunderstorms. And that goes all the way up to Illinois and Missouri, but then we get that squall line and the capping disappears. So we will know more about this squall line definitely for tomorrow and the cells that pops up in front of it. I will show you the difference with the NAM. Now you can see what your dew points as you go Monday night into Tuesday morning. Bam. Then your dry line starts kicking in for the South Central. And as you go later in the afternoon, it really kicks in as it passes the capping. It really kicks in right here towards the central of the U.S., right where the dry line meets, all the way from Iowa, all the way down to Texas. And this is where your squall line is going to form. But unfortunately, that's as far as we can see so far. But when you look at your instability with your cape, with your lift, you can see as you go through Tuesday morning, it starts strengthening up as you go past lunchtime. Then it starts intensifying to where you have a good chance for a lot of cells all the way from Missouri, southern Iowa, even into Indiana and Illinois. A lot of strong lift, especially for Illinois and northern Missouri. A lot of strong lift for these cells to tap into and keep going as you go into Wednesday morning. Overnight, all this instability just keeps raising up. So when you check for your chance for supercells, as you go through Tuesday, you have a weak chance. But as you go into the afternoon, when it busts that cap on the eastern side of the storm, you can see that it raises up to some strong chances for supercells for northern Missouri, western and northern Illinois, going into northwestern Indiana, and it intensifies a little bit for Indiana and northeastern Illinois as well. But it keeps going all the time. It goes all afternoon long, and then we get that squall line, and you have a lot of chances for some supercells to pop up in front of this squall line as it forms. But we do have chances for tornadoes today as well. You have a 2% in the green, 5% in the brown. Here's your cities and states for today. The National Weather Service has it as isolated severe thunderstorms will be possible over parts of the southeast states and in Texas. A more concentrated corridor with a threat for a couple of tornadoes should be focused across southern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle into early afternoon. And you can see the difference. You can see why I don't use the NAM, guys. So as you look with the NAM, you can see these cells coming across the south today. But you can see as you go through the afternoon, it just dissipates and there's nothing there. Now, when you look with HRRR, you can see the difference. You have a lot of strong cells that's passing through all morning long. You've had a lot of tornado warnings this morning. And as you go through the afternoon, it's just like National Weather Service says, you get these strong cells moving through southern Alabama, southern Georgia, and it goes all evening long. Maybe even the Florida Panhandle by the time you get to 7 p.m. You still have a lot of instability, but these cells hang around all the way to 8 o'clock, all the way to 10 o'clock possibly, with these cells. So a lot different than the NAM. That's why I use HRRR. And your helicity tracks does show that you have a lot of strong cells that pop up for today. As it goes across southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, it intensifies for southern Alabama and southwestern Georgia. Not really getting into the Panhandle yet. You do have a cell down there, but the strength shows southern Alabama and southwestern Georgia for sure today. And that goes into the early afternoon. Then as these storms pass by, we go overnight into tomorrow. Now you get these storms coming through later this afternoon. That's just going to be thunderstorms. There could be some hail involved in there. But the big event isn't until tomorrow. And you can see how you really don't get those cells popping up all the way until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's right where you don't have that warm air above anymore. The cold air is taking over. And you get these strong cells all the way from northern Missouri by 2 p.m. Carries into Illinois, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, and southern Wisconsin by 6 p.m. You even get some across northern Michigan as well. That carries all the way over for them. Then we start getting some cells popping up until later at night, right before this squall line pops up, and that's as far as we can see. And the dry line goes all the way from Iowa all the way down to Texas, just like I showed you. But these cells right in front of this squall line is where we could have some more tornadoes. So for Tuesday at 9 p.m., you start getting some cells forming for northern Arkansas, southern Missouri now, going into southern Illinois as you go into the overnight hours. And that's as far as we can see. And behind this squall line is going to be the damage and wind event. Why are you getting all this heavy snowfall for Nebraska, Dakotas, and northern Minnesota? Also freezing rain. You're also getting some winds, and your blizzard warnings has ramped up. And as you keep following your helicity tracks with HRRR, you can see your cells in the south. But as you go through Tuesday afternoon, it just ramps up from northern Missouri into Illinois and a little bit of northern Michigan. Then it kicks in for southern Wisconsin as you go late for Tuesday. Then we get that squall line, and it starts popping up more cells towards the central U.S., showing still very strong cells from 2 p.m. all the way into the afternoon. Northern Missouri, western and northern Illinois, going into southern Wisconsin, but weakening down for southern Wisconsin. But you do get a strong cell going across northern Michigan as you go into later around dinner time, 7 to 9 o'clock at night. Then we get that squall line, and then these other cells pop up in front of the squall line, and these are leaving pretty high trails as well. But you can see with your lower level winds that as you go into 7 o'clock and on, your winds at the lower level really start ramping up. And that really intensifies those cells as it comes through all the way until 7 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. A lot of damaging winds coming in, but that really ramps up these cells. And this is really where a lot of the large hail, I believe, will be. I still think you'll see 3-inch, maybe even gorilla hail. I still think you got a possibility for 4 inches. But it really ramps up the winds as you go overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. So you need to watch out for these cells on the first one. But you can see that once those winds pick up, once it breaks through on that capping, that you really still get a lot of large hail out of these cells for northern Missouri. And this is with the Euro. Euro is pretty close to HRRR. It's incredible how accurate some of these models can be if you know which ones to look at. So around 3 p.m. for northern Missouri, gets stronger as it goes towards 4 p.m., towards southeastern Iowa. Also here for Texas and Oklahoma, you have a lot of lightning strikes as well, chances for large hail. And as you go through the evening, those cells go through Iowa, western Illinois, then northern Illinois. Then once you go through 10 o'clock at night, then you start getting that squall line with a lot of hail in that as well. And you get these cells in front of it that could be tornadic as that pushes to the east. Then you get more cells. Then you get the bottom half that I told you I was going to be later on for the next day. As you go early morning hours, a lot of lightning strikes definitely going by Dallas. And you can see as it carries on, you still have that squall line just going all the way over for Wednesday as well, where you have your severe weather as well. Now, National Weather Service has it as it goes through the Great Plains and into portions of the Mid-South that these could pose a risk for a few strong tornadoes, large hail, and damage and wind gusts. And we also could see in this strong evolution that one or two long track supercells ahead of that squall line. So as you can see this morning, it has ramped up once again. Now we have the moderate section. And this is going to be the one that's going to be for later for Tuesday. Down here is going to be overnight into Wednesday. So you do have the chances for hail, significant hail. All this black means you can get large hail at least 2 inches in diameter. That's the size of limes. I believe it will be bigger, especially in this 30%. But here's your cities and states at risk for the hail for Tuesday. You also have significant winds, big 15%, as well as the 30% that's going to form up, as I showed you with those winds later in the evening. But the tornado threat has ramped up. As you see, you have your moderate section up here in the north, just like I showed you from those cells. It's also significant severe down here in the south as well. All this black is significant severe. That means you could have tornado damage or strong wind gust damage equal to or stronger of an EF2 or greater, guys. So here's your cities and states at risk so far for the tornado threat for Tuesday. And your significant severe is Little Rock, Arkansas, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and Waterloo, Iowa. And it still carries into Wednesday, and it has grown just like I showed you on SIPS yesterday. So now you have a big 5% down here for severe weather for Wednesday, and you have the 15%, but now you have the significant severe in this black. That could be either large hail, 2 inches in diameter, or it could be strong tornadoes. It's too far to know for sure, guys. We need HRRR. NAM is not doing it with the information. But here's your cities and states at risk so far. And the significant severe has Detroit, Michigan, Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, and Buffalo, New York. And National Weather Service has it as severe thunderstorms are possible across much of the lower Great Lakes vicinity into lower Ohio Valley Wednesday. This may include cells capable of producing tornadoes, as well as organizing line or cluster, posing a risk for severe wind gusts and tornadoes. And you can see here from the Euro that late in the evening, just like HRRR, you get these cells that's popping up for northern Missouri. They carry into Illinois, very strong cells, and southern Wisconsin. Then you get that squall line popping up late in the evening, overnight, and you can see the squall line goes all the way down towards Texas for Wednesday morning. Now, it's not showing a lot of cells in front of it. Now, Euro is not a high-resolution model, but to see this much information already shows me that it will be intense, guys, when HRRR comes with the information. And that keeps pushing north with the surface low as it keeps coming further south with your severe weather. And you can also see that when the temperatures come in for Tuesday, that it is going to be some very cold temperatures. You're going to get very warm temperatures all the way into the 90s for Texas. And this is bringing 80s all the way up towards Kansas, southern Nebraska, even southern Iowa, getting in on some 80s as well. Then as you go late in the evening, you start getting that cold front coming through, and it does bring a lot of cold temperatures. Then as you go through Wednesday, it comes back down again. So a lot of y'all are going to be in the 20-degree category, a lot of single digits, and a lot of teen temperatures for the Rocky Mountains and the upper Midwest. But soon after this cold front comes through and we have this severe weather event, soon we're going on a warm-up, guys. And not just the central U.S. It's going to spread across the whole U.S. as we go through April. A big warm-up is coming across as we go through the 9th and the 10th. Now, you can see with HRRR that we can only see till 1 o'clock in the morning. And these winds are starting to pick up higher elevations of Colorado and New Mexico. You're getting up to 90 miles per hour wind gusts. Let's just downgrade it and say 70 or 80. That's still pretty serious. But all this right here is 50 and 60 as it ramps up. That's why you still have that big fire threat. And then we still have that second round that comes through the upper Midwest. HRRR can't see that far yet. But you can see this with the Euro that all these winds do group up for the upper Midwest as it pushes away, bringing high 40s, high 50s with it as well. And that comes in Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. Very high winds for the upper Midwest. So there's still two parts to these damaging wind gusts. But you can see this in the update from National Weather Service. So all the Southwest, you're in this high wind warning. Plus you have your fire risk as well that is still going to grow. You have your weather warnings in upper Midwest, but now you have all these blizzard conditions for northern Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota. So National Weather Service has put this out for your chances for greater than 12 inches of snow. And you can see where the red is. The red is 90 to 100% chance of at least 12 inches. And all this orange goes from 70 to 90% chance of 12 inches or more of snowfall. And you can see here from National Weather Service that the highest totals could locally exceed 2 feet. Avalanches and significant impacts. But you also have your blizzard conditions, strong winds, and heavy snow will create whiteout conditions and significant drifting snow Tuesday and Wednesday. And with the temperatures being in the single digits, the wind chills are well below zero, guys. Negative wind chills. So life-threatening cold for this behind this storm. Wind chills will fall to near or below zero during the blizzard in the northern plains, which could lead to life-threatening to anyone stranded outside. Plus, they do have it as damaging winds from the southwest to the Midwest. Widespread gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour will spread from the southwest and Four Corners today to the plains on Tuesday and upper Midwest on Wednesday. Power outages, wind damage, and blowing dust, even outside of thunderstorm activity, are likely. And you see that they do have it as extreme impacts for Wyoming, northwestern Nebraska, portions of South Dakota and northwestern Minnesota. Extreme impacts from this winter storm. And so far, National Weather Service model does have a lot of snowfall coming down, guys. So anywhere from Wyoming, where you could see that 2 feet or more, all the way to northwestern Nebraska, you could get all the way up to 2 feet. But anywhere from there, North Dakota, South Dakota, over a foot of snow, maybe 18 inches for North Dakota and northern Minnesota. This is where all the heavy snow is going to be. And right below this is going to be freezing rain. There is some freezing rain that's going to be in effect for this. So as you're getting all this heavy snow, during the transition, you're going to get some freezing rain for eastern South Dakota, northeastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and the UP. That's where your biggest chances of your power outages will be, because a lot of freezing rain. And you can see this from National Weather Service. So as you go in through Tuesday, you start getting your heavy snowfall, you get your freezing rain. We also get the thunderstorms. And as you go later in Tuesday, then the surface low ramps up right here by Nebraska and Iowa, just like before, and you're starting to get the severe weather kicking in. And then as you go through Wednesday, then you have all these thunderstorms going all the way from the south all the way up over the UP and intercoastal northeast. This is a big section of thunderstorms that's going to come out, guys. And a lot of damaging winds behind it as it pushes through for Thursday towards the East Coast. And you have severe thunderstorms in the south and the mid-Atlantic. So severe weather could ramp up a little bit more than just Wednesday. And don't forget the fire threat, because we have very low humidity, very high winds starting for today. So for today, you do have the critical threat in the red. This is your cities and states at risk. For tomorrow, this is going to grow, guys. Your winds are going to grow and your humidity is going to stay in the single digits. Now, a bigger area that's in this critical for Tuesday. And here's your cities and states at risk for Tuesday. But as we go overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, they still have you for an extreme level chances for fires. So here's your cities and states at risk for Wednesday for your fire threat. This is your extreme threat, guys. Please don't go start fires. Don't go flick cigarettes. Just be careful. You can't even put a hot engine of your car over this dry grass and leave it there. It could spark up. But you can see with your humidity that for today, you have some very dry numbers coming in. Very low numbers, single digits coming in with those winds. For tomorrow, it's going to be much of the same area. It's going to expand out all the way towards northern Nebraska now. All these single digits coming in with these high winds, big chances for fires. Then as you go through Wednesday, we can't see Wednesday yet. Now remember, we are giving away another one of these solar weather stations for today. It does connect to Weather on the Ground and National Weather Service. You get updates on your winds every 17 seconds. I will call out the winner for tomorrow. All you have to do is subscribe, hit the like button, and put the comment Weatherman in the comments below, and I will pick the winner for tomorrow. But you can see real good on higher resolution now on these first set of cells that we're going to get coming through tomorrow afternoon. So they pop in around 2 and 3 o'clock, and you get some nasty hail cores in there as well. Look at these hail cores that pop in from northern Missouri, southeastern Iowa, going into western Illinois. Time you go to 4 p.m., carrying those strong cells with a lot of hail inside of them. Time you go to 5 p.m., now it's going to northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, all the way till 6. Then it carries towards Michigan. Mostly it's northern Michigan that's seeing these strong cells, but it does kick in towards western and some weak ones towards southwestern as you go through 8 p.m. So some very strong cells popping through just on this first system, guys. After that, we get that squall line. Then we get these cells that pop up in front of that squall line. And we can't see too far, but we can see already that they have a lot of hail cores in those as well. So today I want to talk to you Psalm 15. Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoreth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. Amen. But above all things, guys, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I pray above all things that he keeps you safe, you and your families, through this whole event. In Jesus' name. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.